Hello, everyone. Welcome back again to another episode of the Lorcana Lab. And today we are going to be showcasing, guess what, my favorite, Ruby Amethyst. It feels like the deck is just one of those that will never die, huh? With the new set 2 cards coming out, it has changed a bit. I mean, I'd say it's changed pretty significantly, but this is my current iteration, and I'm sure it can be improved upon, but so far it's been feeling pretty nice. So without further ado, let's go over some of the changes and the tech that we are adding to the Ruby Amethyst deck. So we start off with one Shield of Virtue, just an overall really flexible card that can allow you to re-ready one of your characters. In a lot of cases, it also just provides an ink if you need it. It's tough to ink it very early on in the game, though, especially when you don't know what the matchup is going to be. But it's not, I would say, a key player in this deck. Next, we run our Aladdin combo. So Aladdin's just super useful in terms of controlling the board state against a Reshi type deck. You can make your opponent lose lore, and then you can later swing in with it, Aladdin, to make your opponent lose even more lore, and really bring the game back from the edge of defeat there. So we include 4 of both Aladdins. We include Maui, which is just a great 5-cost character that can kill something. Especially with the resist characters out now, it's actually pretty relevant. Maui can do 4 damage to a Cinderella through resist 2, and with the Cogsworths, it can, when things have resist 1, it can still do 5 damage. So, a really good hard-hitting character. We include 4 copies of Be Prepared, just great board wipe control. Be Prepared, I think, is going to be a staple in any sort of these long, grindy control decks for the foreseeable future. And then we include 4 copies of Maleficent. Once again, just really great removal. While it is stymied by Ward, you got a body too on top of it. And it's one of the better cards in Ruby. The notable things that we really did take out here is some of the early game Ruby plays like Gaston, LeFou, and part of the reason is because there's just so much stronger early game plays in Amethyst that we're just gonna utilize those cards there. So without further ado, going into Amethyst, we really want some good 1-drops. And so that's why we include 4 copies of Chip and 4 copies of Pascal. Chip is essentially the equivalent of Archimedes, but it's a new card. It's in Beauty and the Beast. I'm gonna include it. And then 4 copies of Pascal for that early game evasive threat. You never know. Sometimes Pascal's really bad against Steel, but if you're not playing against Steel and you got like 2 or 3 Pascals out, they can definitely be a menace as always. Next up, we got the Mim package. Mim is great so far in my testing. We got the 2-drop Madam Mim that if you have a 1-drop out, you can replace it with a 3/3 on turn 2. And those are some insane stat lines for a 2-drop. And also, we have the Madam Mim 3-drop that has Rush. And you can, it has the same effect essentially. Return another character you have on board back to your hand in order to play out this character. And these 2 cards just give a lot of flexibility and board control. You think that returning a character from the board back to your hand is the opposite of board control, but it's board control in terms of it allows you to choose which characters you have that are exerted and which characters are ready. And a lot of times you can also take damage with some of your characters and bounce them back in order to pseudo heal them. And it's just been pretty nice when playing. There's definitely a lot of bounce archetypes in Amethyst, and I think it goes really well with Be Prepared because it also provides less of your own board that gets wiped out by Be Prepared. So we have the Mim. We do run one copy of the Magic Mirror. We just have so much card draw now in Amethyst with the Merlin Rabbits and existing card draws like Friends on the Other Side and the Maleficents that we really don't need too much card draw. Surprisingly, and I know I've been a proponent of Magic Mirror. I even run three copies, I think, three or four copies of Magic Mirror in my early Ruby Amethyst set one deck. But nope, we reduced it to one copy. It's useful sometimes in a long, draggy mirror match, control mirror or something like that. But most of the time, it's a little bit too slow. You got the card draw that you need. It doesn't provide too much value unless in specific matchups. You do continue to include two copies of the Ursula's Cauldron, which is just a great way to filter out your uninkables. Because I think this deck runs, let's see, it runs four, 5, 6, 7. Arthur's uninkable, so 11. Let's see, I think Merlin is uninkable. 15, 16, 17. So this deck does run 17 uninkables. And normally, without any way to do card draw or that sort of stuff, I always recommend about 12 to 14 uninkables in a deck. So running 16, 17 uninkables really requires you to have some tech to deal with those. And Ursula's Cauldron is a great way to just make sure you draw the inkables that you need rather than drawing to the uninkables. Then we have 4 copies of Arthur. Arthur is just a great card. It doesn't seem like much. A 3-drop, 1/3 that only quests for 1 more, but just so much utility. Once you have it out, he is a threat that really requires your opponent to try to figure out where to remove. Otherwise, you get to use him to draw more cards with your Merlins. You get to use it to bounce back some of your useful creatures to replay them. I've definitely had instances where Arthur just bounced back a 9-drop Maleficent so that I can play it again, or an Elsa, which can continue to tap down your opponent's characters. And on top of that, when you do that, you also gain 2 lore, so just a nice bonus there. So we have lots of ways to bounce our card into our hand to replay. And then we have the card draw suite with Friends on the Other Side. We already talked about Madame Mim, the Rush character. And the Maleficent, as always, just a solid character that can sing songs and help you quest or help you draw cards. And specifically, one of the ideas behind this deck that I really wanted to build around is I think that Emerald Amber is going to be a really good deck, especially with all of the discards. Not Emerald Amber Rush, but Emerald Amber kind of control, kind of mid-range, extreme discard. And they can make you discard a lot of cards early on. I think most of the time when I run that deck, they make you discard 2 on turn 3, and then 2, and if they have Buckies and stuff, pretty much consistently, 2 cards on turn 4 and onwards. And so you really need a way to actually get ink and not have to top deck all of the cards, right? And so essentially what we end up doing is just having a lot of the Madame Mims to return the Merlins, Friends on the Other Side to sing, just ways to replenish our hand. And this deck seems to do good enough that consistently it can keep a hand size that doesn't feel like you're top decking all the time. So that's one of the other considerations behind building this deck. We have 2 copies of the Pocket Watch, which is just overall really useful against aggro. And then we have 4 copies of the Merlin Rabbit to help us draw cards, and 2 copies of Elsa. And the reason I don't run more of it is I feel like there are more cards that are more important, like Arthur's. We want to actually put decent pressure on the opponent, right? We want to not just full out go control, but if we're in a situation where we can put the pressure to quest out and force opponents to deal with our board and just get further ahead. We have the control tools late game, but we want to win, and we can win with all of these early Amethyst cards available. Plus, I think in general, I'm leaning more towards kind of come up with decks that don't kind of rent time in tournament situations, and play like some smoother, like faster decks that take about like 10-15 minutes for a game on average. And hopefully this version of Ruby Amethyst can kind of fit that. So without further ado, let's get into a couple of games and we'll see how we'll try our best to commentate and show you how this deck plays out. And hopefully you'll be able to take something, learn, and kind of modify, create your own versions of the Ruby Amethyst deck. Let's see how these games go. Plus, I think because Pixelborn doesn't have all of the cards yet, there are definitely some great cards that can be included. We don't even, I believe we don't know what the second legendary is in Amethyst. And we don't have any of the Ruby legendaries yet. Or maybe we do. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But I think that the Mim legendary dragon is not so good. Maybe if it was inkable, it could find a slot there. But I think it's uninkable. Just costs a lot. Return bounces two creatures back. So not I haven't been able to make it work, but who knows? Maybe there'll be great synergies with that card. Cool. So we mulligan away some of our not so useful cards. We're really aiming to get a 1-drop, and then the 2-drop into nice. There's a 1-drop. We didn't get the Mim Snake, but at least we got a Pascal, and have a turn 1, 2, 3. Not super keen on. I don't think we need a shield. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of drawing both of the Ursula's Codrins, but kind of have to play with the hand you're dealt. Yeah, if you think about it, one Ursula Codrin allows you to see 2 cards, where 2 Ursula's Codrins lets you see 3 cards. So it's diminishing returns with the Codrin. So looks like opponent is playing a very similar Ruby Amethyst deck. I'm not super familiar with the mirror match right now, but that comes with the territory. Double Pascal might be better than the Ursula's Cauldron, especially because we have some card draw after we play the Mim. So I'm fine with tossing a Maleficent, just playing out a Pascal, and forcing our opponents to deal with both of our Pascals. It's not too many cards that can deal with 2 evasive characters. And plus, maybe it'll force the opponent to reveal the second color. I mean, Befuddle would work. I'm surprised that they didn't. They probably have another Befuddle in their hand. No, they choose to do card draw. Interesting. Very interesting. Nope. Got a third Pascal. Yeah, we just toss Mim. Play out a Codrin. Cool. We'll grab a Mim. Play out third Pascal. And just quest. And we just hope that we're not playing against a steel deck that has a tank, right? Mickey Mouse. Blue. Okay. That's good for us. They don't have mass removal then, so our Pascals are going to do a lot of good work. Inking a lot. Sure. A draw. It's a good draw. Press everything. Yeah, grab another snake and we'll ink the chip. And we'll pass. I think it'll be a little bit of time before they can get their bell online. Maybe not. 6, 7, 8. But they're gonna be losing a lot of cards in hand. And we have to be prepared coming up soon. We have a pretty wide board, but we need to get our be prepared online, huh? See what we can do here. So I'm definitely gonna quest with both of these. Yeah, snake. Bounce back a Pascal. Yeah, another snake. Bounce back a Pascal. Inca Pascal. Beta Pascal. And hopefully draw into some. That's nice. Then we'll quest. And we'll pass and say, opponent, we have some big creatures on the board. We are 2 turns away from be prepared. So that's good. They don't get their bell online just yet. Nice. They're at least 2 turns away from the bell. This is good. Yes. Quest, quest, quest. Okay. We got plenty of kill that. Bounce that. Kill that. Probably killed a Maleficent. Well, actually, yeah, we'll bounce the Madam Mim. We'll ink the Mim. Okay, that's not an inkable, but it helps us potentially draw into an inkable. Cool. Okay. If they don't quest with the Olaf, I may just take out the Aurora. It'll sacrifice his Pascal, but it helps buy us some time. Ah, it's Kadra, huh? And a Maleficent. Interesting. Elsa. Okay, so they do quest with the Olaf. This comes down. How important? No, yeah. I was thinking, do we Cauldron? Let's Cauldron now. That's fine. Um, how much are they at? 6, 5, so 17 is scary. Take out all of these. $17, huh? I think we're gonna ink the chip. Let's see what we see here. Okay, we'll still take that. Sure. We'll just take out the Olaf and we'll quest. 17 is scary, but I can get to 17 as well and board wipe next turn. So that's good card to see. That's great to see. Board wipe is gonna be really nice. Okay. Surprised he didn't quest, but sure. Okay. 15. Gonna quest. Going to Elsa's great. We'll take that. We'll board wipe. Into our Elsa. Filter again. Arthur is also really good. All right. Pass. I think we just play out the Arthur and see what opponent does, huh? Nice. Uh, hmm, sure. I think this game still will pass. Let me check. Yep. Do not need to pocket watch. Okay. Dragon is good. That's fine. Not an issue. Perfect. So I think the next play is we're just gonna play the Elsa. Press with the Arthur, bounce the Elsa back, and let's have it ready again. Pretty simple. Okay. So we'll just play the Elsa. Rest. Bounce our Elsa back. And then we'll don't like any of these, but we'll take the Inkable. And we'll pass. And so opponent needs to deal with our Arthur at the very least. And does not look like they can. So that's game 1. Against Amethyst Sapphire. So in that game, the Pascals definitely came in handy. And this was definitely not super long and grindy. We were able to quest out and pretty much be on par with our opponent's lore most of the game. So yeah. Speaking of which, there was a new card revealed today. I think it was the Steel Beast. that is Floodborne that shifts for 3. We don't see any smaller beasts right now, but its effect is pretty great. It's technically, if you can shift it on turn 3, it just stays on the board and allows you to draw a card on at the beginning of your turn if it's not damaged, and if it is damaged, it gives itself a boost attack. Just any way to get card draw essentially for free. Even like Sisu is great, and that's a conditional card draw of it needs to quest and make itself vulnerable, right? Whereas Steel, that beast, as long as it's on the field, it just gives you a card draw. So it's pretty insane. It does only activate after turn 5, or if you can shift it, turn 3. So I wonder, like, and just having two of them on the board is just GG. I feel like drawing 2 cards each turn in steel colors is almost unrecoverable there. So I think that's definitely another possible way to counter the Emerald uh, Emerald Amber card discard. All right. Well, looks like there's not too many people playing Lab, or maybe I'm just disconnected and need to quit and restart. Give it like 20 more seconds. If I don't get into a game, I'll give it a restart. Yeah. Um, Rise of the Floodborn is coming out soon, next week, I believe. So it'll be definitely pretty nice. People are gonna start figuring out stuff for season 2. Nice. Yeah, into game. Season 1 is mostly been pretty solved, I think. Well, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Don't need a high cost cards. Don't think we need a Cauldron actually. Yeah, I think we just want some more early game plays. And I'm going to toss the chip. I'd rather have the Pascal out. Okay. Elsa's not super useful early game, but it'll work in a pinch. We'll ink the Aladdin, play out our Pascal, and pass. I really want to see the Fox Mim, the Rush character here, but can't always get into our ideal curves, huh? Ruby Amethyst? No, Ruby Sapphire Ram. Alright, it'll be interesting. Okay, we are going to be dealing with a handful of uninkables here. It's gonna be concerning, but what can you do? Maybe I should have kept the Cauldron to filter our draws, but I felt like we had 3, 4 inkables, so I think when playing Control or like Ruby Amethyst, one of the biggest things to work out is, or one of the most important things to master is learning how to manage inkables versus uninkables. Sure. That's a trade I'm willing to make. Then next turn we have the Merlin. Okay. That's very interesting. And we have the Fox. Quest I mean, we can play a Merlin, quest return to Merlin, but I think what is even better here is to quest, return our Mim, play out our Madam Mim, return our Arthur, kill the Flounder, ink the Mim, and play out Pascal. Pass. So Gaston needs to run into our Mim. And then we got Merlin for some card draws and Arthur's out. Yeah, they have an Aladdin. Do not need a Maleficent for now. Yeah, I think we just play out the Merlin. And we quest and pass. If they have a way to deal with our Merlin, they can kill our Pascal. But otherwise, the Pascal has evasive. Next turn, we're just gonna play out both of our Arthurs and provide a little bit more of a threat. They're still a little bit away from be prepared, so we can pile on the pressure. What does opponent have in mind? Okay, so they quest. That's a juicy target for our Merlin to run into. Bell. Interesting. Okay, well, don't think we need an Aladdin. It might come back to bite us, but let's just do this. Play out both of our Arthurs, kill the Aladdin, and quest with the Pascal. They didn't even ink that round. That can't be right. Either they don't have a be prepared that they're... Okay, let's draw a card. We got lots of lore. We got 6 lore from our 2 Arthurs next turn. So that's gonna be great. Okay. And we got the Mim, huh? So quest, turn to Pascal, quest, turn the Arthur, play out the Madam Mim, return the Arthur, kill that, ink a Pascal, play the Pascal and play the Arthur, and pass. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll be at 18 next turn. I don't know if returning the 2 are... Well, in hindsight now, I'm glad I did that because they have a Maui. We can play out our Elsa, right? Is there any reason not to? No. It's too much of a threat. Keep that tapped down. Quest. Do we bounce the Elsa back? No. Bounce the Pascal back. We'll pass. And we threaten both of our creatures threaten lethal. Ah, well, they got be prepared, huh? That's fair. Nope. Okay, well, we got him. Yep, and that's the power of Arthur. So, cool, cool, cool. Let's see if we can do one more. Um, so we did both against sapphires. One is ruby and one is amethyst sapphire. So let's see what this game has to bring. Don't need any of these. Once again, we're looking for the mims here. And we got none of them. Okay, well, this is going to be a little bit of a rougher game. So, what are we going to be aiming for here? Probably get the Arthur down. Steel, okay. Ember Steel. Mims, anytime now. Mims will be amazing against Ember Steel. Got the chips, but we don't have the chip to deal with, or so ideally, when they play out a Simba, we would have played out the Snake Mim to have a 3 attack body in order to trade into the Simba, but we don't have that, so kind of a little bit on the back foot there. What can we do? Oh, they don't have the Simba. Okay. Okay. So we could, yeah. It's better to be lucky. Huh. Um, this meme is great because originally what they probably planned is when I attack into the Lilo, they can just ping my chip and kill it. But nope. Now I got a 3/3 on board and my chip is safe. Can become ink again. And essentially, this is the equivalent of a 2-for-1 here. That's why sometimes bouncing cards back is just so strong. Also, doesn't provide any exerted characters for them to get Rapunzel value off of. So, yeah, that works. Smash is good. What's the play here? Well, we don't need a Maleficent. I think we just play out. Can't even easily deal with the Robin Hood, huh? Sure, we'll just play out the Maleficent. Be on curve. Draw some cards. Draw some more cards with friends on the other side. Another Lilo. Cinderella. Do they have a shift target? What do they discard? Grab your swords. Okay. Probably running shift Cinderella, but okay, they're gonna ping Maleficent for one. Not the best. We're gonna friends. Not the best. They're gonna ping. I think we want to grab some more creatures. I was debating whether or not to put the rabbit out, but I think it's more important to have 2 characters out here. It does give them a little bit of value if they swing the Robin Hood in, but they don't have the Rapunzel. That's fine. And now I'll be able to kill the Robin Hood at the very least. Yeah, it is a little bit annoying that the Lilo can quest, huh? Oh, that's a great draw. We will definitely take this. I think we even quest. I mean, there's no reason to try to get up to 20 lore. You have the Cinderella shift soon, so that is going to be concerning. Ping the chip. We're gonna kill the Robin Hood probably. Yeah. Robin Hood's dead. Play out a Merlin. Draw a card. Yeah, I think Aladdin is nice. Why are they gonna attack with Cinderella? Kill my Maleficent? No, they just grab your swords. Huh. Okay. Play out another rabbit. Oh, yeah. Guess we'll just ink that. Play out the Arthur quest and pass. The fact that they haven't gotten any card draw really puts them on the back foot there. Beast. Glad I didn't play out the mirror, huh? I think that's fine. Okay. That's good. Do they have a whole new world? If they do, we just make sure that they can't play it, right? Or they can't sing it with the beast. Go to Cinderella to prevent any shift shenanigans. We'll return one of our Merlins. Draw a card and pass. Nice. I'll kill that. Yeah, we just play another Elsa. We got quest, quest, quest. Draw a card. And pass. Yeah, I think the fact that opponent really didn't get any Rapunzel value and didn't have a Surfer Stage or Lanterns out really hurt in terms of gaining, just being able to get ink and lore there. So yeah, so that's pretty much the current iteration of Ruby Amethyst. I think you got the control trolls with the be prepareds, but mostly you focus on just getting a ton of value out of your Amethyst cards and being able to lore up quite well. And once you clear the board, you can play down some of your authors and be able to just threaten a lot of lore pressure there. So that's pretty much the iteration of Ruby Amethyst I have so far. We'll see how it kind of shapes and evolves. Hope this video has been helpful, and tune in next time. Take care.